Hello and welcome to the Resilient Lineage Podcast, where we reflect on the past, anticipate the future, and discover what God is up to today. My name is Olivia.
And I'm Milo.
And we are already in December.
We are. The house is decorated for Christmas.
It is.
Your mom.
Yeah.
So your birthday is...
November 9th.
November 9th. And the day after your birthday, your mom starts decorating for Christmas, which is... it's a good thing because we've got...
Your voice is so
yeah, I don't know.
Deep.
Is it?
Mysterious.
We,
Do you know what's deep and mysterious?
I can see two of our, 3 Christmas trees we have up in the house?
Yeah.
Which is, for us to only have 3 Christmas trees up is...
So far,
that's true.
there's more to come.
Yeah. But Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
It's that time of year. And we're going to do a 4-part series. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to be it for the year.
We're capping it.
We're taking a little break, and then we'll launch into next year.
Yeah. You planned this series out.
So I was going one direction, and then, as is often the case, as I was studying the Word and kind of getting things mapped out for the series, I thought, wait a minute, this is more interesting. And it has to do with the messages that were received around the Christmas season. So we're going to look at Mary. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the order will be for the others, but we're going to look at Mary now. And then at some point, we're going to look at Joseph, the wise men and the shepherds. Kind of your classic
nativity scene.
Yeah, nativity scene set up. But I got to thinking about, this is a time of year when people send and receive letters, like family. Here's what's been going on in the so-and-so's house. When I was a kid, that was a really big thing.
Letters?
Yeah.
Like updates?
You would get a holiday or a greeting, a Christmas card from a family. And because this is back before there was social media, so there was no way of kind of knowing how people were doing unless you saw them in your kind of everyday life where they wrote regular letters. So the Christmas letter became a way to update folks with what was going on in their lives. This is what we've done over the course of the year, who's gotten married or what babies have been born or who graduated from what school and, all that kind of stuff, who traveled where, all that, those cool things. So as a family growing up, what we would do is we would receive, we would get these Christmas cards and then we would have a stack of them. And then at dinner that night, each night, into the new year, Papa would reach out over and pull out a Christmas card, and that's the family we would pray for that night around the dining room table. So before we ate, which I thought was always a really cool tradition.
And now everything's digitized.
Everything's digital now. So, it's in some ways the need to do that has severely diminished because if I really want to know what's going on with a good friend of mine's life that might live in another part of the United States, or I just don't see them very frequently, I just check out their Facebook profile. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how the majority of us kind of
get updates.
Yeah. To the degree, I looked this up. In the early 2000s, this was the peak of the Christmas card season. How many Christmas cards do you think were mailed in the early 2000s? In that
globally?
Christmas cards? No, just in the United States. This baffles me.
I don't know.
What would you guess? Just give
half a million.
500,000? 2 to 3 billion Christmas letters.
That's I guess if each family mails 30.
Yeah.
And then that just that's okay. That's okay. Bear with me. You know that scene in Christmas with the Cranks, and Nora goes over to the letter guy for her annual Christmas card, and then he's like, "Are you ready to start your new Christmas card, Miss?" I forget their last name. And Crank. And
we're recording this at night, which we typically don't do.
We don't do.
Yeah.
But so this is just a fun ride. But anyway, she's like, "No, not this year. We're skipping Christmas." And he's like, "Did you hear that, ladies? She's not ordering her Christmas cards." And I remember watching this, I don't even get it. What's the big deal?
Yeah, what's the big deal?
But that makes sense. I mean, it came out around the early 2000s, so.
So the idea is, that was early 2000s was sort of the peak of letter writing. Because again, what happened like in 2005, 6 period, you had Facebook come out. Now it's roughly and guess who
Hallmark.
Hallmark does the estimates.
See, I just knew what you were gonna ask.
1.1 to 1.6 billion is the range today.
That's still a lot.
It's still a lot of mail. And so, if you see your postal person, like, give them a thumbs up.
You're doing great.
Doing a great job moving all 1.6 billion. That's just letters. That doesn't even include packages.
Yeah.
So, so this is a time of year when we receive letters and we receive, information from other people and things like that, which as we consider, like the story, the narrative story, these aren't just, the birth of Christ doesn't just happen. It's announced, which I think is really cool, that this is like most things when a king is coming, like the king is announced before he's entered into the room. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of sort of pomp and circumstance, but in a way that is, it's just doesn't, you see these familiar beats in the narrative, but it doesn't make sense in light of the circumstances. Yeah. Like the announcement isn't in the king, in the courts of royalty. The announcement is made on the fields of shepherds. The announcement isn't made to, a princess from a high royal family. It's made to a
young
woman. And, it's just this kind of juxtaposition of what we're used to reading with these kind of the announcement of royalty coming. So we're going to start with Mary today.
Yeah.
Because I think, that's sometimes where you want to build to. But I think it's a great place to start because I think it sets the table for everything else. Yeah. So do you want to read the text or do you want me to read the text?
You got it. You have it pulled up.
Okay.
And I'll probably say a word wrong.
So Luke chapter 1.
It's asking if you like the Bible app. He said no thanks.
No thanks. I'm good. So the Luke chapter 1 has the kind of announcement of the birth narrative. So we're going to look at verse 26, Luke 1:26, and it says, in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city of Galilee. Actually, the word city there means more like a village or a small town. So Galilee is not like
a huge thing.
Yeah, Nazareth is not this massive, metropolitan area. This is like a little tiny village. So sent to a village of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to, and the word virgin here, just I want to kind of stop and set this scene here. Virgin doesn't mean what like we mean it today. So it doesn't mean somebody that didn't have sex. It means a young woman over the age of 12. So which probably was, if she was a good young woman, it implied her sexual purity, but it also implied her age and, her singleness, like her relationship to her family and her the relationship to the community as a whole. Yeah. So that's what the word virgin means there. Okay. So you got Mary, she's betrothed or engaged to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her, that is the Gabriel the angel, came to Mary and said, "Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was greatly troubled at this saying and tried to discern what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. For he will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. And the Lord God will give to him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever. In his kingdom there will be no end." Okay, so that's the announcement. That's the mail, right? That's the hallmark moment.
Right.
To Mary. She's the first one to find out. Hey, this is going to happen. In this context, one of the things that, so she's engaged to Joseph, or betrothed, which is like, he can still break it off, which we'll when we explore Joseph, we'll consider all of that. Well, what you have here is you have Mary who receives this heavy news. What I want to focus on, what we're going to focus on in this episode, is we're going to focus on just these, like, the kind of the opening statement. Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you. That's it. Mm-hmm. And greetings in the Bible are always important.
Yeah.
And we're going to see why here in a bit. So that's what we're going to focus on, because anybody like, man, you guys are going to like really focus on 3 phrases. Cause I think the takeaway that we can receive from this is that, one, when God has a mission for someone, and Mary arguably, or maybe inarguably, Mary has the most important mission on the face of the planet ever, right? Mm-hmm. It's a bigger deal than, there's maybe, and I don't know, like it depends on how you'd weigh it, I suppose. Is it a bigger deal than Noah? Is it a bigger deal than Abraham? Is it a bigger deal than David? I don't know. Like those guys don't do their jobs, or God isn't faithful to them. The whole thing, not faithful, or, Noah doesn't do what he needs to do. Do we exist as a human species? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Right. So, yeah. but Mary doesn't, Mary's like bringing into the world the savior of the humanity. World. Right. Yeah. And so how do you, I wonder, I don't know how angels work, like how much they can sort of creatively think about what they're going to say. Mm. But like, was Gabriel like, what am I going to say to this young girl?
Yo, hello, Shaka. Guess what? You're chosen.
So, yo. Like,
the one you've been reading about.
So you've been a really good girl, right?
This is crazy.
But it's not like that, right? It's let's kind of break this down. So what we're going to look at is
girl was caught off guard. So
yeah.
I would too if I saw an angel.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Man, I kind of had a brain fart there. Like I had this, Luke probably got this account from Mary. So Luke was not an apostle, the guy who wrote this gospel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He was a physician, so he got interviews from all these people, and Mary was probably one of his interviews. Mary she's probably between the ages of 12 and 18, maybe as young as 12. Probably not as old, you're not older than 18. We don't know for sure, but she's a young woman. So if you fast forward then, when Jesus dies, Mary is in her early to late 40s, somewhere in that period of time, which is still a relatively young woman. Not young.
And if he died at 30 something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, so Mary would have still remembered all of these things. Like, we had your birthday.
I would have remembered that.
Well, your mom remembers your birth, right? Like we were just talking about the other day because it was your birthday and you had friends over, and so we can still talk about with vivid memory
what happened?
The series of events, all those kind of things. So for Mary to recount this stuff is not a small thing, and it's not insignificant. So she's probably the one that gave Luke the information to know what to say or what to write down in all of this. Okay, so let's break this down. So the first is. So the translation I said it says rejoice or says greetings, but some translations say rejoice. So we're going to start with greetings. O favored one, the Lord is with you. So let's look at this word rejoice. What is the significance of that? So the word, it's a Greek word, chero, I think. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
We're going to go with that.
Say it with confidence.
Yeah, say it with confidence. This is not just like a, yo, what's up? This is a command to be joyful. So some translations will translate it as rejoice. The word is as culturally significant as the word shalom is in the Hebrew language, which means peace be with you. May peace be for you. May peace be through you. It's like, may your life be of peace. Like it's that kind of, it's sort of like you're imputing the idea and you're calling out the idea all at the same time. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this idea then to rejoice is something that is, it's consistent throughout the New Testament. It's used 74 times. Jesus said, rejoice and be glad, for great is your reward in heaven. Paul writes in Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. James 1:2-3 says, consider it pure joy, or consider it consider rejoicing when you encounter trials. Like so there's this idea that you
have to choose it.
Yeah. And it's something that you step up to. Okay. So let's kind of what we learn about this. So first is this: rejoicing is not dependent upon your circumstances.
Right.
You should. I'm doing
I'll go
all the
with
talking.
this. No, it's okay.
Okay.
No, I was like thinking about this because it's like I don't think. Like, how do you actively practice rejoicing? Like it's like just I want to like experience the Lord's joy, but it's like, what does that even mean? And then like your mind goes to like happiness, but your happiness is dependent on your circumstances because it's like this like dopamine effect of just like, oh, I feel good, versus like joy. It's like changing your perspective. And it's choosing to be like, okay, this is like what I'm feeling, but like, what could this also look like? Instead of just sitting in it and taking it as. So like Mary could just be like, why me? Like, I'm trying to get married to a guy. I'm young.
What's he gonna think?
Who are you? Yeah. Who are you with? Dad! Like,
there's so I was reading some commentaries that think he showed up early in the morning too.
Oh no, that freaked me out. That would freak me out. You know, like the end of my bed and there's an angel. Rejoice!
Hey, rejoice! No, before you do anything else, I need you to rejoice. Don't scream, rejoice.
I would flip.
I think what it is like you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
So, I think sometimes we can think, well, so.
You got it.
Okay. So rejoicing can also be an act of willful obedience, right? And I think we can slip into it. And I've done this where you slip into thinking, I want to be authentic. I want to be real about my feelings and my state of mind and where I'm actually at. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to fake something. That's not so we're not calling for that. We're not calling like, hey, rejoice and the whole world is on fire. And you're like, but it's warm.
It's not calling you to be optimistic.
Yeah, it's not calling to be optimistic, but it is calling you to go, in this, God is working. So I'm going to focus on what is God doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to rejoice in that.
Because God's doing it in front of me.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast today. And it was the Sean Ryan podcast. Have you ever heard of Sean Ryan? He's a former Navy SEAL. He interviews really interesting people. And he has like this 5-hour episode. And it's an interview of a guy who's talking about the like sexual abuse of children in the United States. It's not a light subject.
Right.
It's super heavy.
Yeah.
And in the next episode, Sean Ryan was just talking about that and some other folks that he's interviewing. He's like, and Sean Ryan is a believer. He's a Christian, gave his life to Christ. And he talks about it openly. But he's also talking about like, this is really heavy stuff. Like in some ways you kind of go like, what's the point of even trying? There's so much darkness. There's so much evil in the world. Like why even try to do anything about it? Because it just doesn't seem to matter. Like he's just kind of in this, and he's talking about it on his episode. I would encourage people to, if you can handle that kind of heavy stuff, hand it out. Because I would say rejoicing isn't just like rejoicing when you're having a meh day and you just want to plus it up a bit. Like rejoicing is supposed to be despite the darkness and the evilness that is in this world, despite the despair and the depravity that you see amongst humankind, despite the wickedness and the evil you see people do among one another and to one another and with one another, the Lord calls his people to rejoice. And it's like, so that I want to put this in context, right? So when he goes to Mary and says, rejoice, it's a word that echoes. This is the first time it's used in the New Testament, or in the chronologically, and it echoes throughout the rest of the New Testament that we are to be a people who rejoice. Why? Because we know who's on the throne.
Yeah.
right? So there's this, it becomes an act of the will. If I'm going to wait for my emotions to catch up, I'm just going to be waiting a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third, rejoicing is rooted in God's sovereignty.
Yeah.
And that's like what we were just talking about of like, in all of this, in this like fallen world that is sick and deprived, like God is still good. God is still faithful. Depraved.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
And deprived.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, I meant that. Dad gets me. But like God will bring justice, and it's like not our world to fight all the time and try to bring justice. Like at the end of the day, like when our life is up, like it's up to God.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another aspect of rejoicing,
Yes.
of like, despite all of this sadness and despite like this terror, like God has it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, okay, well, what's the application for all this? I don't know what your year has been like.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's some of our listeners that have had a really, really hard, difficult year, maybe even one of the hardest ones ever, if not the hardest one. It's maybe been discouraging and frustrating, disappointing. I imagine there may be some folks that are listening and are like, I'm not even sure I want to go into another year, which is like heavy to be thinking about all that. The reality is we serve a sovereign God. That's where I take my solace. Scripture is really clear. God will not be mocked. That which a man sows, he will also reap. So there will, like you said, there will come a day of accounting.
Yes.
There will be a day of reckoning. And it's not on us to, speed things up to that end or whatever. Not if we're in places of civil justice and we need to be responsible and do the things we need to do, obviously, and we need to stand up against evil, but recognize we are coming up against a force, an evil force that the only solve was for Jesus to come and die.
Yeah.
Right? So the solve for all of this is not more of man's efforts. No, that we don't have efforts and we need to practice justice and all those kind of things. But the root of the whole problem is only going to be resolved because God is sovereign.
Yeah.
God does work through his people. So I just want to be really clear on all that. So the thing is this, is that, the angel's first comment to Mary is rejoice. And he knows he's going to say something to Mary that is going to define her for the rest of her life and into eternity.
Yeah.
Right? Like Mary, this is now Mary's story. And he says, but as we walk into that, and we know Mary carries, the scriptures say that her heart is going to be pierced, right? Because she's going to see what's going to happen to her son.
Yeah.
So, and it begins with rejoice.
Rejoice.
Okay. The next one is a highly favored one. So if the first is like, okay, here's the mindset you're going to have to choose.
Rejoice.
Yeah, rejoice. Okay, I'm going to choose to rejoice through this. If that's the mindset, then the second is, okay, and here's the identity I've got to embrace. You're favored.
And that must be so comforting to be like, if this is the mission that God has given me, he sees me as favored.
Yeah.
Like that is like comforting and encouraging. And I think it helped her hold her mantle to be like, okay, like God has given me this responsibility to steward. Like I know God will give me the strength to do it the way he needs me to do it.
Yeah.
Versus it's like, you're going to have a son. And it's like, yay, but like, how does God see me? So at least like this is like the stage, like rejoice, be happy. This is how God sees you as his daughter. Now go do this thing.
Yeah. And well,
yeah,
we're going to get into all that. So this word here, it's kechar itomene.
I think,
what do you think?
I don't think that was it.
Okay. We'll let you look it up. So this word, so if the first word for rejoice appears all over the place, this one only appears twice in the New Testament.
Favored.
So this is like, so this is a very specific word. And the idea is that Mary is she's becoming a recipient of favor. So she isn't favorable herself. Like this, Mary's not favored because she figured out the secret way of living life. She's favored because of the grace of God that has been put upon her and how she's received that, right? So, what's interesting is, okay, so the Old Testament translation in the Greek was called the Septuagint. And so sometimes what we'll do for like biblical scholars and stuff, they'll look at how the Greek words that were used in the New Testament and then look at like parallels to the Old Testament. Well, how did the Jewish community, which would have been at the time of Jesus, how did they use these Greek words to translate the Hebrew into Greek? Because then that gives you parallels for concepts, right? So this Greek word is found in Genesis chapter 6, verse 8, in reference to Noah, who is seen as he had found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So it's not that Noah was this super great guy and he had figured everything out. He was somebody that says like, Lord, I'm open to what you have. And then he received the grace that the Lord had for him. Now, so this is beautiful. Mary is about to become a vessel that will host the Lord's salvation to ensure the salvation of the world. She's favored. Noah builds an ark, a vessel that holds the salvation of the world.
That's so cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That these people were these critical moments of carrying salvation.
Mind is blown.
And the word is like, and they were found with favor. I'd never thought about that before.
Let me pull. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull up a verse because where's my Bible app?
Right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So in this word favor, it's unmerited favor, right? So this can't be earned. Just to be clear, like, when Gabriel says, "Oh, favored one," he's identifying her status before God, not her own inherent quality. Okay. So that's where she's at in all of this. Okay. What are you looking at?
No, not that chapter.
Ephesians 1:6. Look at that. What does Ephesians 1:6 say?
I don't think it's that one.
Try it. See what happens.
Okay.
I don't know what she's looking at right now.
No, it literally talks about like favored vessels. How, like in God's house.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
When it's like some of are made out of wood. Anyway, I'll just tell you because instead you can fact check me. It's in Ephesians. I'll tell you that. It's one of those. It's not the 6th chapter. I'll tell you that. Anyway, where it talks about like there's this grand house and how like God has like these vessels set apart, made out of different materials. All are favored, and all who are willing, the Lord will use. It's not like the type of vessel that you are, but if you are willing and you purify yourself, the Lord will use you for good works.
I'm going to look this up.
You got it. Oh, yeah, 2 Timothy.
2 Timothy.
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
I said it was in Ephesians chapter 6, so wasn't it Ephesians? Oh, yeah, I think it's 2 Timothy 2:19.
2:19. But God's firm foundation stands bearing the seal?
No.
Okay.
We'll cut this out.
No, we're not going to cut this out. That's the problem. We got to keep going. 2:20 through 21.
Oh, wait, I got it. 2 Timothy 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
in the
20.
great house, there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also wood and clay.
For honorable use.
Some for honorable use, some for dishonorable.
Yeah.
Therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from what is dishonorable, he will be a vessel for honorable use, set apart for a holy useful to the master of the house, ready for every good work.
That's what triggered.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think that's a good parallel, right?
Yeah.
Because so Mary is seen as this, and again, it's not her inherent quality.
Right.
It's the work that God has done in her to get her to that place. I just want to be really, really clear on that.
Right.
Okay, so what we learned through this. Do you want to walk through this? We've already kind of talked about some of this.
Yeah. So favor is God's initiative, not our achievement.
Yep.
And it's like we can't really like do anything by our own strength to earn our own salvation, to get where we need to be. Like it's all through the grace of God. And in Ephesians 4, it talks about like how the Lord, Ephesians 1.
4 through 6.
4 through 6. It talks about the Lord where he says, each of you have a calling on your life, but according to your calling is a measure of God's grace, where God will give you the grace you need to walk in the calling that God has needs you to walk. He's like, he knows you can't walk it naturally.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've been transformed by the living Spirit and you are letting the Holy Spirit convict your life so that you can walk in obedience, God will give you the grace you need to accomplish the mission he has planned for you. And I think that is such like a part that we miss of like, okay, God, what does God want me to do? What does God want me to do? It's like, okay, well, be obedient today.
Yeah.
And then,
well, there's a baseline that we all can operate off of,
yes.
right? What am I supposed to do? Well, one, rejoice.
Yes.
Like you can do that. Love your neighbor, what's in your hand? Like, what do you need to steward right now? Like, there's these big questions. Like, because I imagine when Mary heard this information, the tsunami of questions that must have been flowing through her mind of what is this going to mean? Because the Lord is saying you're favored. So imagine, what do you think people are going to start thinking of her as a pregnant, unmarried woman?
Not favored.
Not favored. Right? Disobedient, reckless, irresponsible, foolish,
embarrassing.
Right? All of these things. Okay, hold on though. Gabriel's going, you're favored, right? And then she's, okay, so that, her and Joseph, they have to escape to Egypt. And so they're living down there for a little while because of, they're afraid for Jesus' life. And anyway, then you get to the place where Jesus is like doing his ministry and things. And I think it would be easy to assume everybody probably thought Mary was like, cool. I'm sure there's some people like, hey, Mary, what's up with your weird son?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why can't he just be normal?
Why is he talking to me like that again?
Hey, tell your boy to dial it down, right?
Yeah.
Like I imagine like there was these constant times in her life
where she was clearly misunderstood.
And she had to come back to this moment.
Yeah.
I'm favored. And then watching her son die. Watching her son be killed. Watching, him be tortured and accused of, blasphemy and like going all, down this road and going, I'm favored.
Yeah.
Like and she was at the foot of the cross. She wasn't embarrassed of her son. She didn't run away from what her son was about. Right. So, okay. So God's favor, he initiates, we can't work this out on our own. It's transformative, right? So when you're favored, I think when you're favored, you can walk with your head higher.
Yeah. Like
right?
confidence.
Yeah. Like I don't need you to get it for me to live as I know I'm supposed to be living.
Yeah.
And it's not arrogance.
Yeah.
It's not because arrogance and cockiness you can tell if somebody thinks they earned it, because that's when arrogance and cockiness starts to spill out, right? Confidence, you can have confidence knowing that I'm in this room because because I was selected to be in this room.
Yeah.
I was selected for this kind of work, and I need to do it with humility, and I'm going to do it because of the grace that's been given to me, nothing that I've achieved of my own.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
the last one is to be favored. Favor doesn't mean it's an easy life. And Mary did not have an easy life. Again, like she just watched her son do ministry and go all over these towns and heal all these people. And to, again, sit at the foot of the cross, watching her son bleed to death and die and be persecuted, to be mocked. And she like knows this entire time that like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and at some point she's widowed.
Yeah.
Right? Joseph dies. So she's got these other kids. Her oldest is a special kid. Right?
You know, I also wonder, like...
And then you have even, like, some of Jesus' siblings don't believe in him.
Yeah.
And to where even there's that story where you know, Jesus is teaching and he's in a house and Mary and his family's, like, outside and they say, hey, go get Jesus. We need to talk to him. And they say, hey, Jesus, your
family's here.
Your family's here. And he's like, well, this is my mother. This is my brother. Unless you leave. I mean, like in that moment, I could see Mary going like, no, you only have one freaking mother, kid. Get out here. You know what I mean?
He's talking in parables again, Mom. Like.
But I mean,
yeah.
Like the amount of times I imagine she had to come back to this and go, I am favored. Now, my question is do we soak ourselves enough in God's word to know what he says over us? Like I have never had an angel show up early in the morning and be like,
the foot of your bed.
Yo.
Rejoice.
Okay. I have. I mean, personally, I feel called to preach. I know I'm supposed to be a preacher. Like that's like when I was 11 years old, I knew that was what I was supposed to do with my life. And I've never been able to get away from that idea. I've tried doing other things. And that's the thing God keeps bringing me back to. So I know then when in doing that, like there's times I've had to preach on topics or I've had to say things or I've had to toe the line or there's things I was not cleared to say. Like I've had to be true to that. And I know it's created issues, right? And some people have like, just go with it. Don't worry about it. Just, whatever. And it's like, no, man, I have to honor what I've been called to.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting myself on Mary's level at all, right?
Right.
But as much as it is, I think all of us have the opportunity by spending time with God, God's word, and diving into, times of prayer with him for him to be able to speak these truths over us. And then it's a truth that sticks and stays.
Yeah.
That will navigate. And when I know that, it makes it a little bit easier to rejoice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at least I know what my role is in all of this. I know what my responsibility is.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
That's good.
Okay, so rejoice, O favored one. Last part.
The Lord is with you.
The Lord is with you. So this is the promise of God's presence. This line, this refrain specifically.
Is in so many different
this is a common refrain. He told Moses this, I will be with you in Exodus chapter 3. He told Joshua this, the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. He told Gideon, the Lord is with you. David said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with me. Isaiah, fear not, for I am with you. Deuteronomy 31:8, he will be with you, who will not leave you or forsake you. So this idea that God is constantly present is a theme throughout Scripture. So God is not this
flaky guy,
flaky, anonymous force, right? He's not a flaky God, like you said, that, is kind of with you 1 minute and then bounces to somebody else or anything like that. He's not an anonymous God. He's a God that is always present, always available. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean I always feel him.
Right.
Right. I can
definitely walk through seasons where he's silent.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean...
We did an episode on that, like going through seasons of silence. And how do you navigate that time well? What is God doing, cultivating within your soul during that period of time? But it's this idea that God is, through that period of hanging on to God, and I'm aware of his presence, even though I might not feel it, I'm going to believe it nonetheless. He's with me. Okay. That means I have the opportunity to stay the course with what he's called me to.
Yeah.
What else? Thoughts?
What we learn.
Go for it.
Yeah. Emmanuel, God with us again. And this is just like God's nature. Like what we just said of just you can like not feel them all the time, but then when you do feel them, it's super comforting.
Yeah.
And like even when he like reveals himself through the word and your Devo time, or when you're listening to a worship song and just hearing the lyrics and these truths. And I think with Mary, she had to come back to these truths. And it's like when you feel like you're misunderstood all the time, when you feel like you're a black sheep, when you know God's using you, but you don't know why, you have to know like the truths on speed dial. And you have to be intentional with that. We need his promise to navigate our challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We need to like know who God is in this season. We need to, and it's going to be the same throughout because God's never changing. He's omnipresent and he'll never change. He's the same as yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Which I think is super comforting because it's like, what kind of personality is God going to be today? You know, it's like you don't do that. You just know the guy.
Yeah.
It's like a relationship.
It is.
Who knew?
So you're familiar with the Message Bible? Have you ever heard of the Message Bible?
Mm-hmm. Dude, the Message, real quick. Bacon, he like paired different Bible translations to Star Wars characters, and it was Jar Jar Binks.
The Message is Jar Jar. Okay, so having said that, the Message Bible is a paraphrase by Eugene Peterson. It has its value. Mm-hmm. I would not say it's like Jar Jar Binks because I cannot think of any value Jar Jar Binks brought to the Star Wars universe at all. Okay, but he says this is the way he translated this verse in John 1:14. Says the Word became flesh. So talking about Jesus, the Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. The Living Translation says and made his home among us. I mean, that would be like, imagine the most like the person you absolutely need in your life day in and day out, and they go, I want to move onto your street. I want to be your neighbor. I want you to look across the street and know I'm there for you. I want you to know you can come on over and ask whatever you want, whatever you need, anytime. Doesn't matter, day or night. And occasionally I may go over and just, I want to sit with you and eat with you and dine with you and know your family. And I want you to know mine. Like, that's the imagery.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Okay, Message Bible.
Right? Because I think when we say, like, Emmanuel, God with us, like, it's sort of like, okay, yeah. But when you put it into relational terms, like, no, he wants to be that person that is part of your, and literally person. He's a God, but he's a person, right? That is active in your life day in and day out. That there isn't a day, there's not a moment, you're not scaling everything you're going through against him in his presence. Okay. So we know he's God with Emmanuel. Yep. Great song, best hymn ever. O come, Emmanuel. My favorite hymn.
I did not know that.
You didn't?
I thought
That's my favorite Christmas hymn. Yeah. It's like powerful. It was I don't want to go down that. We did an episode on this last
Christmas.
Year. Yeah, check out that episode on the hymn. It's a great episode. Okay, so
second, we needed the promise to navigate the challenges. Third, his presence requires our awareness. Yeah. I mean, like, if you moved in the neighborhood, how, like, can you just, like, make yourself unaware of that?
Yeah, well, you would want to be made aware of it, but you could also choose to ignore it. Yeah. Right? Like, you could say, I don't want that in my life. I don't want to rejoice. I don't, rejoice, O favored one, the Lord is with you. I don't want to rejoice. I don't care what you think, and I want you to leave me alone. There's a lot of people that's their attitude towards life. Yeah. Like, don't tell me how to think and feel. Don't tell me who I am. And I don't care if you're offering help.
Because I got it.
Yeah. Like, so the Lord challenges that. Yeah. Right? And I think that's like one of the things that's sort of core to our souls, that rebellious spirit.
Yeah.
That says, I don't need God. I can figure this out on my own. No one's going to tell me what to do. I'm in control of my own life. It challenges, this little greeting challenges all of that and goes, well, are you willing to rejoice regardless of your circumstances? Are you willing to bank your identity on what God thinks of you above everything else, despite everything else? And then are you willing to trust that, God is with you, even when you feel the most lonely, the most vulnerable, the most
rejected.
Isolated, all of that sort of stuff, right? So his presence requires our awareness. It's not that our awareness makes his presence known, but like he can make himself present. But if I don't want to be aware of it, I can choose not to be aware of it. I still have that volitional choice, right?
Yeah.
To not practice paying attention to God's presence in my life, to not stepping into what he has for me. I can choose not to enter into those moments. Now, could he disrupt that? Obviously. God can do whatever he wants. Like, I am getting your attention. Yeah. God will do that.
Yeah.
And he has done that. However, for the vast majority of our life, like his presence, this is one of the things that I always find interesting is, I've been walking with the Lord for 46 years now, right? And so there's this, man, that makes me sound really old.
You're so old, guys.
But I was thinking about, like, I think about God all the time. There's not a conversation I'm not walking into that I don't think, Lord, help me. And sometimes I'm walking up to a conversation like, Lord, you're going to have to, I really want to say this. You're going to have to help me bite my tongue. Like, I am praying all the time. I'm aware of his presence. But then I've met other people. So that's like my default mode. So I forget that there's people that don't think that way, that don't operate that way, that they are not aware of God's presence because they have chosen to not be aware. And that would be my challenge. Maybe you're watching this or listening to this and you're going, I don't know anything about that. If you want to be made aware of God's presence, I challenge you to pray that.
Yeah.
Lord, I want to know you. I want to be made of your presence in my life. And then you email us and let us know what happens. Or message us.
And then we'll share it the next episode.
Well, if you give us permission.
If you give us permission.
Yeah. But that, like, God, if you lay down that challenge or you lay down that request, the Lord will be like, oh, here we go.
You gave me the keys.
He loves that prayer. And he longs to answer that prayer. Now, you don't get to call the shots and determine what
how
awareness
he does
is.
it.
Yeah, you don't get to do that, right? Because he's God, so he gets to choose however it goes. But I believe in the core of my soul, everyone before they die will have an undeniable experience with God that they can't get away from, that they cannot argue away. They cannot reason away. They can say all of these things. But did I ever tell you that story about the gal I met on the plane? So I was in Bible college, and I was flying from Portland up to Seattle, Seattle to St. Louis, St. Louis to Lexington, Kentucky. That was my route on
that sounds about right.
On TWA
To get to KMBC.
And I would take the red eye because it was the cheap plane tickets. And so I had worked all day for your grandfather, my dad, in construction. Came home, packed up my things. Get to the airport like at 10. My parents take me, drop me off at the airport like 10 o'clock at night. Get on the plane. We're going up to Seattle. And when we're going up to Seattle, the plane is like empty. Like nobody's there. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great because we're just going to, like, we're landing in Seattle, but you're not changing planes. You're just picking up some more people. And then we're flying to St. Louis, which is like a 4-hour plane ride. That's going to be fantastic because the plane's half empty. It means I can kind of sprawl out and sleep the whole flight. So we're taking on people. Looks like we're almost done and nobody's sitting next to me. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be able to sleep. And just then this woman comes on board and she's wearing like this black turtleneck top, and she's, slender and kind of like in her early 20s, and smells of like cigar smoke and whiskey. And she comes over to my, like where I go, and she's like, oh, that's my seat. She's sitting in my row. I'm like, oh, go ahead and take a seat. I mean, it's her seat. I didn't say take a seat. So she sits down.
You're like, I'll allow you this time.
I'll allow you this time. So she sits down. And now, again, there's no like iPads, iPhones. There's no devices. There's no in-flight entertainment. There's none of that stuff. You bring a book or a magazine to read on a plane. That's your entertainment, right? Or a Game Boy or something. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, I can't sprawl out like I could, but I had the window seat, so I could kind of lean up here. And so I'm getting ready to taxi, and I said, I was St. Louis, your final destination? And she says, no, I'm going, I can't remember where it was. It was one other place. And I was like, oh, you visiting family? She said, yeah, sort of. I'm going to go see friends mostly and a little bit of family. And I said, so you're not from Seattle? She says, no, I came out here for work. And I said, well, what do you do? She says, well, I'm trying to be an actress up here, but I'm a cocktail waitress. In fact, I just finished this event at Microsoft where we were serving things, and that's why she smelled like cigar smoke and like whiskey or something. And so we got to talking about that, and then she goes, well, what do you do?
And you're like,
and I went, well, I'm studying to be a pastor. I'm a Bible college student in Kentucky. And she's like, oh, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I was like, well, what do you not believe? And so she begins to tell me about, she's an atheist and doesn't believe in God, or, gives me all of her reasons why. And so she's sharing. I mean, she's like, we've got a 4-hour flight. So she just like starts telling me all of her stuff. And she says, well, why do you believe what you believe? And I start to share like what God's done in my life, what I see in scripture, what I've come to learn. And at this point, I'm like a junior in college, Bible college. So, it's not like I'm like this seasoned minister.
Sage.
Yeah, at all, right?
Right. Seasoned minister.
Yeah, I'm not any of that, right?
I've never heard that before.
Okay.
Anyway, you can keep going.
So, so I'm sharing with her, and then she goes, there was one situation that makes me think there was a God. I was like, yeah, what was that? She says, my mom was dying in the hospital, and she wasn't doing well. And the doctor said, hey, she's going to go at any moment, so you need to stay by her bedside. She said, I was at my mother's bedside for 2 solid days. And every breath I thought was going to be her last, and it wasn't. And so for like 48 hours, I didn't sleep. And I just sat there waiting for my mother to die. And I cried out and I said, God, I can't do this alone. She said 30 minutes later, my mom's best friend and my sister showed up at the hospital at the exact same time. And walked into the room at the exact same time. And 15 minutes later, my mom died. And she said, that makes me think there's a God. And then I was like, I'm in like Flynn, right?
In like Flynn?
Oh, you've never heard that?
Who's Flynn?
So I shared with her, like, that is God pursuing you.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what you've done. I don't know what your life has been like, but that little moment right there is God letting you know he loves you. And I shared with her the gospel of Christ. And so our plane lands. We've been talking for the last 4.5 hours, right? So we're walking and she goes, how long is your layover? And I said, I got like an hour and a half. She said, do you want to grab coffee? And I was like, sure. So we went to like an Orange Julius because that was the only thing open at 5 a.m. in the St. Louis airport. And I think I actually bought her like a little croissant and some orange juice or something like that. And I got my something else. And I got out my Bible because I, had access to it then. And I was showing her different passages of scripture and I shared the gospel with her. And she was like, you've given me a lot to think about. Like I said, well, my encouragement is that find a good church and I'm sure there are some people in your life that follow Jesus. that love him. And I would encourage you to share with them what you just shared with me and have them help you take steps towards Christ. And she said, I know exactly who I can do that with. I'm going to do that. And then she went off one direction and I went off in another direction.
So if you're listening,
never saw her again.
And do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Could be you.
But that moment convinced me that God is pursuing everybody.
Yeah.
Because here was this woman that looked like she was figuring out life and she sort of had a cold, kind of serious, don't mess with me type of demeanor. Mm-hmm. She had all of her reasonings why she was an atheist, but it took till being at 3 a.m. on an airplane, flying over America with a perfect stranger for her to recall a story. I don't know how many people she ever told that to. Mm. For her to say, this one little moment makes me think there was a God. Yeah. So God's presence is always there. That was kind of the big, I didn't plan on sharing that story.
No, it's okay. I didn't, never heard it. I'm just over here getting emotional.
His presence is both comforting,
disturbing,
and stretching.
Mm.
Yeah.
God is actually very disturbing. And I don't know if that's because we put up these walls that we don't think are walls, and when God comes in, it's like, oh, hello.
I think it's because we don't, because we put our expectations in the wrong place.
Yeah. Okay.
So God's comforting, which is great, because that means we're never going to be abandoned.
Right. Or forsaken.
Yeah. He's disturbing because we have to respond to his leadership. And I think this is where the expectation, there's directions I want to go with my life, which may be good directions.
Yeah.
They're not wrong or immoral or anything like that. But there's ways I imagine or I envision things playing out. And the Lord's like, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it my way. Hence Mary. Hey, I found this great guy. We're going to get married. I've been a good girl my whole life. He's been a great guy. We're going to establish this home. We're in our little village of Nazareth. Life is going to be great. I imagine her parents are really proud of her. All of these sort of things. And the Lord's like, no, we're going to mess all that up. We're going to but remember, you're favored and I need you to rejoice and I'll be with you. And then he's stretching. Because God with us means God wanting to work through us. So it's not just I get to experience God, it's that other people get to experience God through me, through my acts of kindness, my encouragement, the way I live and I love, and all of those sort of things. Okay, so we stretched a lot out of just a few words.
That's great.
Right? But that's the power of greetings. That's the power of these messages. And we hope this holiday season, this Christmas season, that as you walk through, that you're mindful of the fact that there is a God who calls you to rejoice. And so maybe you've had a great year. Maybe you've had a really hard year or something in between. Maybe you're going, I don't know who I am. Camp out, find some time with the Lord, just quiet, some worship music, his word, spend some time in prayer, journaling. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a lot. Man, if you can take a half hour and do that a couple times a week. And then know that he's with you. And then if he's moving, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. You can do and tell them how they can get a hold of us.
Oh yeah, you can go to.
You can show me.
Hey, no.
This was the baton handoff. It just clanked on the ground. Clank,
you did.
Clank, clank,
oh,
clank,
okay.
Clank, clank, clank.
I'll pick it up.
Pick it up. Keep running.
And
Keep going.
You can email us at hellothisresilientsoul.com.
Yep, there you go.
I said it.
Hey, good job.
Look at that.
Do you not normally say it?
I don't say that. You say that. You can follow us. We have all kinds of social medias, so you can just search up Resilient Lineage or our names. I guess we don't share our last name. Our last name's Curtis.
Yeah, well, I said, yeah, that's true.
It's just Milo.
Yep,
and
you can
Olivia.
find us on Facebook, Instagram.
And then DM us if you want to message us that way. We're pretty good at responding.
We would love to hear from you this holiday season. You guys have been an encouragement to us. We hope we've been an encouragement to you. So we pray that you guys go with God.
And be at peace.